the reason our organs are set up the way they are, and the reason we have arms and legs is from our fishy ancestors. So it's worth studying them.
Welcome to the first episode of Fulbright Canada's podcast. Hi, I'm Cheryl, a 2020 to 2021 Killam Fellow, and now a social media assistant here with Fulbright Canada. I had a conversation with Prasanta Chakrabarty, an American ichthyologist and associate professor of ichthyology, evolution, and systematics at Louisiana State University. He has just wrapped up his post as a Fulbright Canada Distinguished Chair in Environmental Science at Carleton University in Ottawa, Ontario. For him, the award was a means of making further discoveries, not only in his field, but in the country where he had studied. He says,
I was a McGill graduate, an undergraduate, and I'm glad to be back for the year, even though it's a strange year.
Homecoming is one of many reasons for why he applied. On his other motives, he commented,
I wanted to retool a little bit and learn new things, so I study deep time evolutionary history typically, and Steve Cook, who's my host here at Carleton, he does more real-time evolutionary work on fishes. I'm also associated with the Canadian Museum of Nature, which is also in Ottawa and Quebec, actually. And I'll be working with them on natural history of the region. So there's a lot of fresh water here. There's some great fishes. There's a lot to understand about ecology and evolution. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to sort of be outdoors and take a different approach to my studies.
According to the Canadian Encyclopedia, about 1,200 species of native fishes are found in Canadian waters, with 990 species living in marine waters. Evolutionary work on fishes reveals how they have adapted to their environments. On the evolutionary adaptation of Canadian cod, evolutionary ecologists Espen Olsen and Ulf Dykman led research examining data on the size, age, and sexual maturity of 10,778 female cod caught off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador between 1977 and 2002. Over that time period, fish began to mature, and therefore presumably breed, at an earlier age. This supports the hypothesis that cod that bred earlier were more likely to pass on their genes before ending up on someone's dinner plate, which answers the question of why the age of reproduction had dropped in the 1980s. There are numerous research chair awards available in a broad range of categories, ranging from digital humanities to business management. Despite the variety and possibilities, we ensure that each awardee has the same high-quality experience during their educational exchange. On his exchange despite the pandemic, Prasanta says,
it's been a great experience. I actually learned a lot from Steve Cook's lab, collaborating with his students. He's put me on his mailing list for all his students defending, and we've collaborated on some papers, which was an important deal for me.
As a reference, the Cook Lab at Carleton University is an ecology and conservation physiology lab. Last year, the lab participated in research on the effects of COVID fishing restrictions on bass spawning success, which was covered by the CNN. Specifically, the research suggests that both the halt on fishing due to the pandemic lockdowns and the US-Canada border closures could rejuvenate the population for years. In addition to the comparatively few varieties of commercial fish for consumption, there are thousands of species most of us have never heard of. This may be because of their nicheness, but it may also be due to the fact that they're in the midst of being discovered by ichthyologists like Prasanta. On his achievements, Prasanta comments,
I've described 15 new species to science from almost as many countries. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky to have done that. I haven't discovered a new species in Canada, but from mostly tropical places. Another reason I want to come up here to sort of expand my worldwide domination of fish discovery. But there's not new species here that I know of yet, but plenty of opportunities to study the fishes here.
And on his favorite fish to research,
I definitely love those cave fishes. You know, I've been in caves in different parts of the world, Australia, Madagascar, most recently in Thailand. I was in caves just before the pandemic hit, actually, in early January. And my student and I went into with locals to this northern Thai cave with waterfall climbing cave angelfish. And they're not very big, they're only about this big, but they're like hardy little guys, and they walk like this, and they have what's called a salamander gait. So they walk like something that comes onto land. They can actually come out of land onto land a little bit. And no eyes, no pigment, as many cave fishes are also. So those are maybe my favorite. And you have to work hard to get to them. It was 3 hours in and 3 hours out of that cave. And there's some tight spaces in Australia that I've been after cave fishes, and those can be maybe those are my favorites for discovery and research.
Science journalist Carl Zimmer's 2016 article in the New York Times describes how the waterfall climbing cavefish, Cryptotora thymicula, lends greater insight into how our ancestors transition from sea to land took place. The cavefish has even evolved many of the skeletal features that our ancestors did for walking, including a full-blown pelvis. As the author of 80-plus peer-reviewed papers in ichthyology, systematics, evolution, and conservation journals, I am certain that Prasanth can speak for days about cavefish and ichthyology. But what does he have to say about his host city, Ottawa?
So Ottawa, has this great green spaces when it's green anyway, when it's not winter and snowed over. But even then, I love just going down to the Byward Market and, walking around. I love walking. I've done a lot of walking during this pandemic. And going down to Parliament, around even to Gatineau, across the bridge, and coming back around. Also the Canadian Museum of Nature, as I mentioned before, that's just a really great resource for people in Ottawa.
Nice as it is, he still calls Baton Rouge his home.
Baton Rouge, is like totally different. I call it Queens, New York, with nice people in it. People are really nice. It depends what season. We don't have seasons like spring, summer, winter, fall. They have a king cake season, crawfish season, football season, and then it's just hot. Go down to the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River goes right through town. You could sit near the bridge and look out onto it, which is, just fun for me as a fish person. You can have a crawfish boil or go down to LSU where I work, Louisiana State University, and if you go to a football game, it's bigger than Super Bowls. So they have eight Super Bowls on campus, I say, because there's 8 home football games, and the stadium is 200,000 people on campus, so there's no avoiding it. So you might as well join the party, and there's always a party in Baton Rouge. So I do miss it, and I'm looking forward to rejoining my colleagues with a new view on life after this Fulbright.
Although there are no Fulbright Chair Awards available at the University of Louisiana as of yet, there are 7 U.S. Chair Awards to be taken up at Carleton University, and 6 at the University of Ottawa. So that's what we wanted you to know. Now, here's the final message Prasanth wanted to deliver to you.
Fish are really, they're the reasons we have brains in our heads and not in our fingers or arms like an octopus, right? So we evolved from fishy ancestors, and the reason our organs are set up the way they are, and the reason we have arms and legs is from our fishy ancestors. So it's worth studying them.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more stories from our Fulbright Canada alum.